I am Professor Paul Hiranio, a faculty member of the University of San Agustin, and I am your English major coach. I have a master's degree in ESL, that's English as a Second Language, from UP, the University of the Philippines, and I have a bachelor's degree in secondary education, major in English, from West Visayas State University, College of Education. So let's start. Question number 1. This linguist is considered the father of modern linguistics. A. Edward Sapir. B. Noam Chomsky. C. Stephen Krashen. D. Roman Jakobson. It's pronounced Jakobson, not Jacobson. Again, this linguist is considered the father of modern linguistics. A. Edward Sapir. B. Noam Chomsky. C. Stephen Krashen. D. Roman Jakobson. Okay? The correct answer is Noam Chomsky, the father of modern linguistics. Don't be confused. Okay, I want to emphasize here the word modern. Modern linguistics. If it's modern linguistics, then it's Noam Chomsky. Noam Chomsky was an American linguist, born in 1928 in Pennsylvania, in the United States. His specialization is theoretical linguistics. Again, the father of modern linguistics is Noam Chomsky. Noam Chomsky, his work from the 1950s revolutionized the field of linguistics by treating language as a uniquely human, biologically based cognitive capacity. Through his contributions to linguistics and related fields, including cognitive psychology and the philosophies of mind and language, Chomsky helped to initiate and sustain what came to be known as the cognitive revolution. That's Noam Chomsky, the father of modern linguistics. Let's go to question number 2. It must be slender as a bell, and it must hold fire as well. These lines by Jose Garcia Villa state that a good poem must A. not contain many words, B. contain the sound of a bell, C. inspire people to revolt, D. mirror the culture of a nation. Again, it must be slender as a bell, and it must hold fire as well. These lines by Jose Garcia Villa state that a good poem must A. not contain many words, B. contain the sound of a bell, C. inspire people to revolt, D. mirror the culture of a nation. This is a question on Philippine literature in English. Well, the title of the poem is Lyric 17 by Jose Garcia Villa, our national artist for literature. It must be slender as a bell. Slender here means not fat. A fat poem has many words. So according to Jose Garcia Villa, a good poem must not contain many words. So the correct answer is letter A. Not contain many words. It must be slender as a bell. right? This poem is, well, according to Jose Garcia Villa, our national artist for literature, a good poem, well, of course, must not contain many words, and this poem is replete with imagery. In these lines, we have the images of a bell and fire. That's Jose Garcia Villa's Sonnet 17, a lyric 17 rather. It's lyric 17. So to these lines, Villa responded, a poem is economical. It's slender as a bell. It has no adipose tissue. It's lean and clean. Poorly written poems should of necessity go on a diet to get themselves of excess verbiage and adjectives. And by fire in the next line, I simply mean that a poem must have a spirit. This is according to Villa in one of his interviews. Now, a poem is economical means it does not use a lot of words. It's slender as a bell. Number 3, which of the following is not one of the elements of a reporter's basic hardware? A, camera. B, notebook. C, tape recorder. D, list of story ideas. Again, which of the following is not one of the elements of a reporter's basic hardware? A, camera. B, notebook. C, tape recorder. D, list of story ideas. The correct answer is letter D, list of story ideas. The question here has something to do with the physical things that a reporter brings with him when he goes out of the newsroom. Okay? Not one of the elements of a reporter's basic hardware. So which is not one of these things? Options A, camera, B, notebook, and C, tape recorder are all physical objects or hardware that a reporter needs to finish his work, right? So camera, notebook, and tape recorder. Option B, list of story ideas. It may be physical or mental. No, you can just have a list in your mind. So the correct answer here is letter D, list of story ideas, not one of the elements of a reporter's basic hardware. This is a question on journalism. Next question, number 4. Which of the following does not observe proper English? A, Sarah is in her car. B, Dan is on his way to work. C, your English is not good. D, please do not make so much noise. Again, which of the following does not observe proper English? A, Sarah is in her car. B, Dan is on his way to work. C, your English is not good. D, please do not make so much noise. The correct answer is letter C, your English is not good. Okay, let's analyze. Your English is the correct structure, not this one. So your versus your. One pair of words that can be a tricky one is your, that's Y-O-U-R, versus your, a contraction of U-R. That's Y-O-U apostrophe R-E. Of course, they are different, and this mistake might even seem childish to some people. However, it doesn't mean that you don't need to be very careful when using one of these words in a sentence. When you say your, that's Y-O-U-R, it is a possessive pronoun that shows that something belongs to you. Your house, your car, your property. Second person, singular or plural. Your, which is Y-O-U-R apostrophe R-E, is a contraction of U-R. So don't be confused next time. Next, number 5. She stepped down from the carretela of gasoline with a quick and delicate grace. She was lovely. She was tall. She looked up to my brother with a smile, and her forehead was on a level with his mouth. How did the author begin the short story? A, question. B. Description. C. Narration. D. Argumentation. Again, she stepped down from the carretela of Kaasilin with a quick and delicate grace. She was lovely. She was tall. She looked up to my brother with a smile, and her forehead was on a level with his mouth. How did the author begin the short story? A. Question. B. Description. C. Narration. D. Argumentation. The correct answer is description. This is an excerpt from the short story entitled How My Brother Leon Brought Home a Wife. A famous short story in the Philippines, written by a Filipino writer in English, Manuel Argilia. This question, by the way, is a question on Philippine literature in English. The narrator here describes Maria, the wife that his brother brings home to La Union from the city. In the process of description, there is a mental picture that is created, of a person, a place, thing, or events. Here, even though we do not see Maria, but we can picture out she's lovely, she's tall, she moves with delicate grace, her forehead is on a level with her mouth. So the author here uses description, okay, to begin the short story. Question number 6. This ancient Sanskrit grammarian is considered the father of linguistics. A. Panini. B. Diomedes Grammaticus. C. Charisius or Carisius. D. Agravamsa. Again, this ancient Sanskrit grammarian is considered the father of linguistics. A. Panini. B. Diomedes Grammaticus or Diomedes Grammaticus. C. Charisius or Carisius. D. Agravamsa. The correct answer is Panini, the father of linguistics. In the question earlier, it's the father of modern linguistics, Noam Chomsky, but this time, the father of linguistics in general, it's Panini, an Indian scholar, ancient Sanskrit grammarian. If Chomsky is the father of modern linguistics, then Panini is the father of linguistics. Again, this is linguistics in general. He was an Indian grammarian. He was an ancient Sanskrit philologist and a revered scholar in ancient India. That's Panini. Since the discovery and publication of his work by European scholars in the 19th century, Panini has been considered the first descriptive linguist and even labeled as the father of linguistics. Panini's grammar was influential on such foundational linguists as Ferdinand de Saussure and Leonard Bloomfield. Question number 7. The blank is the opening of a news story. A question on journalism. A. Blurb. B. Kicker. C. Teaser. D. Lead. Again, the blank is the opening of a news story. A. Blurb. B. Kicker. C. Teaser. D. Lead. The correct answer is the lead or the lead paragraph. The lead or the opening paragraph is the most important part of a news story. A lead is an opening paragraph that gives the audience the most important information of the news story in a concise and clear manner, while still maintaining the reader's interest. If a reader does not read beyond your first paragraph, they should still have an idea of what your article is about and the most important information from that article. That is the lead or a lead paragraph. So we have here an example. This is an example of a news story, and the first paragraph is the lead paragraph. A tropical depression entered the Philippine Area of Responsibility or PAR at 8 a.m. on Wednesday, February 17, becoming the country's first tropical cyclone for 2021. From Rappler. Question number 8. A wicked man who reproaches a virtuous one is like one who looks up and spits at heaven. The spittle soils not the heaven, but comes back and defiles his own person. Which situation best applies to this line? A. Antonio told Mila that he got his information from the grapevine. B. Talking ill of her co-worker. Mrs. Lim was later suspended from her job. C. Pete did not return a borrowed material from Mildred because he met an accident. D. Rita's boss was embarrassed because she did not show up during the presentation again. A wicked man who reproaches a virtuous one is like one who looks up and spits at heaven. The spittle soils not the heaven, but comes back and defiles his own person. Which situation best applies to this line? A. Antonio told Mila that he got his information from the grapevine. B. Talking ill of her co-worker. Mrs. Lim was later suspended from her job. C. Pete did not return a borrowed material from Mildred because he met an accident. D. Rita's boss was embarrassed because she did not show up during the presentation. The correct answer is letter B. Talking ill of her co-workers. Mrs. Lim was later suspended from her job. This is a saying from Buddha. A wicked man who reproaches a virtuous one is like one who looks up and spits at heaven. The spittle soils not the heaven, but comes back and defiles his own person. It's from the Sermon on Abuse. If you spit at heaven, in Filipino, if magdura ka sa langit, ang dura mo ay babalik sa iyo, di ba? It's the natural law of retribution. Every wrong action brings its own punishment. What is the wrong action here? Mrs. Lim talked ill of her co-workers. What is the punishment? She was suspended from her job. Question number 9. He ruffles every lily pond where blossoms kiss and part. The season depicted here must be A. Winter, B. Spring, C. Summer, D. Autumn. Again, he ruffles every lily pond where blossoms kiss and part. The season depicted here must be A. Winter, B. Spring, C. Summer, D. Autumn. This is a let question. It means that this came out in the let. Well, this is a very tricky question. And if you look at the different let groups on Facebook, madami ang sumagot ng spring. Actually, hati yung spring at autumn. Because of lily pond or blossom. When a tree or plant blossoms, it produces flowers. And flowers bloom during spring. Probably that's their logic. But the correct answer here is autumn and not spring. Why? In the first place, this is an excerpt from the poem entitled Autumn by Kalidasa or Kalidasa, a famous Indian poet, and translated into English by Arthur W. Ryder. This one. Over the rice fields, laden plants are shivering to the breeze, while in his brisk caresses dance the blossom-burdened trees. He ruffles every lily pond, where blossoms kiss and part, and stirs with lovers' fancies fond the young man's eager heart. The English translation of autumn was composed by Arthur W. Ryder. He ruffles every lily pond where blossoms kiss and part. To ruffle is to disorder or to disarrange. And that's what autumn does. It disorders the leaves and the flowers until they fall to the ground. Kiss and part. Part there means to go, which means to fall down, to be separated from the plant, right? You know, during autumn, leaves fall from the trees. So the correct answer here is not spring, but autumn. And number 10, the idea of language as a system of signs is usually associated with A. Ferdinand de Saussure, B. Umberto Eco, C. Robin Lakoff, D. Benjamin Worf. Again, the idea of language as a system of signs is usually associated with A. Ferdinand de Saussure, B. Umberto Eco, C. Robin Lakoff. It's pronounced Lakoff, not Lakoff. I checked already. And letter D, Benjamin Worf. The correct answer is Ferdinand de Saussure. Ferdinand de Saussure was a Swiss linguist born in 1857. His ideas on structure in language laid the foundation for much of the approach to and progress of the linguistic sciences in the 20th century. Saussure saw language as a system of signs constructed by convention. He investigated language as a structured system of linguistic signs or linguistic units. And he argued that language is a structured system of arbitrary signs. That's Ferdinand de Saussure. Okay, number 11. Which of the following lines is poetic? A. Hold fast to dreams. For if dreams die, life is a broken winged bird that cannot fly. B. There are some brightnesses which are stationary and static, but a poem, like a bird, must fly. C. A good bow is one that knows when to shoot and one that directs the arrow to its mark. D. The language itself doesn't tell you, but the substructure behind that language is the real meaning. Okay, which of the following lines is poetic? The correct answer is letter A. Hold fast to dreams. For if dreams die, life is a broken winged bird that cannot fly. So option A contains poetic elements such as imagery, that of a broken winged bird. It also contains a literary device called metaphor. Life is a broken winged bird. Indirect comparison. Comparing life and broken winged birds. And rhyme. It also contains rhyme. Die and fly. So this is the correct answer. This line is poetic. The rest, no. Next, number 12. Which of the following is not a common trait of newspaper readers? A. Readers are in a hurry. B. Readers prefer lengthier articles. C. Readers want short stories that personally connect. D. Readers want stories told in a compelling way. Again, which of the following is not a common trait of newspaper readers? A. Readers are in a hurry. B. Readers prefer lengthier articles. C. Readers want stories that personally connect. D. Readers want stories told in a compelling way. The correct answer is letter B. Readers prefer lengthier articles. Remember, the question is not a common trait of newspaper readers. You know, newspaper readers are busy people. That is why they don't like long articles. In journalism, in fact, we have the writing principle of ABC, which is accuracy, brevity, and conciseness. Now, accurate, brief, and concise. Brief there means a news story or a news article, rather, should not be long. It should be brief. So, which of the following is not a common trait of newspaper readers? Readers do not prefer lengthier articles. Next, number 13. Which of the following is an example of a short story's theme? A. Youth must triumph now. Love must triumph now. Afterward, it will be life. B. In a few moments, he will be a father. Father, father. He whispered the word with awe, with strangeness. Letter C. The ground was broken up into many fresh wounds and fragrant with a sweetish, earthy smell. Letter D. Dodong did not bother to look where it fell, the thought of his age, 17, and he said to himself, he was not young anymore. Okay, which of the following is an example of a short story's theme? The correct answer is letter A. Youth must triumph now. Love must triumph now. Afterward, it will be life. So these are all excerpts. Options A, B, C, and D are all excerpts from Jose Garcia Villa's monumental short story, Footnote to Youth, the story of Dodong and Tiang, right? And the theme of the story, Footnote to Youth, is letter A. Youth must triumph now. Love must triumph now. Afterward, it will be life. This is the theme of the short story entitled Footnote to Youth, written by national artist Jose Garcia Villa. The theme of a story is what the author is trying to convey. In other words, the central idea of the story. The theme of a short story is simply its meaning. It is the main idea explored in the story by the writer. The theme in a story is its underlying message or big idea. In other words, what critical belief about life is the author trying to convey in the writing of a novel, play, short story, or poem. This belief or idea transcends cultural barriers. It is usually universal in nature. When a theme is universal, it touches on the human experience, regardless of race or language. It is what the story means. Often, a piece of writing will have more than one theme. Question number 14. This Russian-born linguist changed the way scholars studied phonology, the sound structure of language. A. Noam Chomsky. B. Paul Gray. C. Eve Clark. D. Roman Jakobson. Again, this Russian-born linguist changed the way scholars studied phonology, the sound structure of language. A. Noam Chomsky. B. Paul Gray. C. Eve Clark. D. Roman Jakobson. The correct answer is Roman Jakobson. Jakobson was born in 1896. Jakobson founded the modern discipline, yes, of phonology, when he developed revolutionary new techniques for the analysis of linguistic sound systems. Number 15, a bad experience or a horrifying incident may scar one's attitude or thinking for a lifetime. Which proverb is explained by the above statement? A. A burnt child dreads fire. B. Where there is a will, there is a way. C. A friend in need is a friend indeed. And D. Discretion is the better part of valor. Again, a bad experience or a horrifying incident may scar one's attitude or thinking for a lifetime. Which proverb is explained by the above statement? A. A burnt child dreads fire. B. Where there is a will, there's a way. C. A friend in need is a friend indeed. And letter D. Discretion is the better part of valor. The correct answer is letter A. A burnt child dreads fire. A burnt child dreads fire. It means somebody who has experienced some kind of negative situation or consequence will try to avoid making the same mistake or experiencing the same situation again. Question number 16. Who developed the contrastive analysis? A. Michael Krauss. It's pronounced Krauss. B. Daniel Jones. C. Steven Pinker. D. Robert Lado. Contrastive analysis. The correct answer is Robert Lado. Contrastive analysis is the comparison of two languages. For example, Korean and Japanese, Hiligaynon and Cebuano, Tagalog or Ilocano. Contrastive analysis, the comparison of two languages. The aim is to describe their similarities and differences. Robert Lado, born in the United States, 1915, died 1995. He researched for the best methods of foreign language teaching for military purposes during the Second World War, and he developed the contrastive analysis. Number 17. Which of the following is an example of a disadvantage of searching the World Wide Web? A. Immediacy. B. Currency. C. Varied formats. D. Lacking credibility. Again, which of the following is an example of a disadvantage of searching the World Wide Web? A. Immediacy. B. Currency. C. Varied formats. D. Lacking credibility. The correct answer is lacking credibility. So this is the disadvantage of the internet, especially because of the proliferation of fake news, lack of credibility. 18. All the blank were invited to the sales conference. A. Brass hats. B. Bread and butter. C. Mad Hatters. D. Bulls in the China shop. Again, all the blank were invited to the sales conference. A. Brass hats. All the brass hats. B. All the bread and butter. C. All the Mad Hatters. D. All the bulls in the China shop were invited to the sales conference. Correct answer is all the brass hats. It is an idiom. A brass hat is someone with a lot of authority, power, or influence in a group or organization. It means all the big bosses, all those in power were invited or have been invited to the sales conference. Next, number 19. Which of the following does not show a conflict? Does not show a conflict in a story? A. Amanda and Tom discuss Laura's prospects, and Amanda asks Tom to keep an eye out for potential suitors at the warehouse. B. Aragon wants to live a normal life with his uncle and cousin, but his uncle is killed and he wants to avenge his uncle's death. C. Frodo has the One Ring and must destroy it in the fires of Mount Doom, or else his home will be destroyed by the forces of Mordor. D. Dorothy kills the Wicked Witch of the East and takes her shoes, causing the Wicked Witch of the West to hunt her down and try to kill her. Conflict. This is a struggle between two opposing forces in a story. Option B, Aragon wants a normal life, but his uncle was killed. There is a conflict. Option C, or else his house will be destroyed. or else his home will be destroyed. This is a conflict. Option D, the witch is trying to kill her. The wicked witch of the west to hunt her down and try to kill her. This is also a conflict. So the correct answer is letter A, which does not show a conflict. Amanda and Tom discuss Laura's prospects, and Amanda asks Tom to keep an eye out for potential suitors at the warehouse. The correct answer is letter A. And number 20, he was a linguistic anthropologist whose thorough classification of indigenous American languages is still widely used today. A. Brother Andrew Gonzalez. B. Steven Pinker. C. Edward Sapir. D. Ferdinand de Saussure. Again, he was a linguistic anthropologist whose thorough classification of indigenous American languages is still widely used today. A. Brother Andrew Gonzalez. B. Steven Pinker. C. Edward Sapir. D. Ferdinand de Saussure. Correct answer is letter C. Edward Sapir. Well, Edward Sapir was an American anthropologist and linguist. As an anthropologist, he studied the indigenous American languages. More information about him: born in 1884 in Germany and died in 1939 in New Haven, Connecticut in the United States. He was a U.S. linguist and anthropologist, and he was a leader in American structural linguistics, one of the first to explore the relations between language studies and anthropology. One of Boas's students who was famous along with his student Benjamin Lee Whorf for the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis. It's Edward Sapir. Okay, number 21. Spam. A. Entertains people. B. Makes people happy. C. Wastes people's time. D. Change people's lives. Again, spam. A. Entertains people. B. Makes people happy. C. Wastes people's time. D. Changes people's lives. It's changes, not change people's lives. Okay, the correct answer is letter C. Wastes people's time. Spam wastes people's time. What is spam? This term is used regularly to describe unsolicited email sent in bulk. A message is an unsolicited email message sent to someone who did not give their consent to receive it, or his or her consent to receive it. And a message sent in bulk is a message of identical content sent to a large number of recipients. So spam wastes people's lives, time rather. Question number 22. Which of the following does not observe proper English? A. Yes, I have a lot to do. B. He is having a shower. C. It's been good to know you. D. Is your English getting better? Again, which of the following does not observe proper English? A. Yes, I have a lot to do. B. He is having a shower. C. It's been good to know you. D. Is your English getting better? Correct answer is letter C. It's been good to know you. This is bad English. It does not observe proper English. Why? Let's analyze. So it's been good to know you is wrong. Okay, the correct structure is it's been, it plus apostrophe S, been good to know you. Why? It's been, it apostrophe S, been is a contraction of it has been. Therefore, you need to put an apostrophe here. So it's been. Next, question number 23. This American philosopher is best known for his work in the philosophy of language, especially speech act theory, and the philosophy of mind. A. David Sallow. B. Calvin Thomas. C. John Searle. D. Robert Lado. Again, this American philosopher is best known for his work in the philosophy of language, especially speech act theory, and the philosophy of mind. A. David Sallow. B. Calvin Thomas. C. John Searle. D. Robert Lado. The correct answer is John Searle. John Searle taught philosophy of mind and language at the University of California at Berkeley in the United States. So, speech act theory. When you talk about John Searle, then you remember the speech act theory right away. Speech act theory was proposed by John Austin and has been developed by J.R. Searle. They believe that language is not only used to inform or to describe things, it is often used to do things, to perform acts. For example, you're fired. So, speech act theory by Austin and Searle. Question number 24. This is an idiom question. Because it is salty, caviar for many individuals is A. An Achilles heel. B. A burden of proof. C. An acquired taste. D. A bull in a china shop. Again, because it is so salty, caviar for many individuals is A. An Achilles heel. B. A burden of proof. C. An acquired taste. D. A bull in a china shop. The correct answer is letter C. An acquired taste. Because it is so salty, caviar for many individuals is an acquired taste. What does it mean? An acquired taste, something that one doesn't like in the beginning, but gradually starts to develop an interest or liking. For example, initially I only enjoyed tea, but now I have an acquired taste for coffee. So the idiom is an acquired taste. Question number 25. It is the process by which the various media industries intersect. A. Networking. B. Multitasking. C. Convergence. D. Virtual reality. Again, it is the process by which the various media industries intersect. A. Networking. B. Multitasking. C. Convergence. D. Virtual reality. The correct answer is convergence. Media convergence. Before different information and communication technologies, were separate fields, no? Now they are one. That is media convergence. You can now watch movies on the net, listen to the radio, on Facebook. You read newspaper on the internet as well. So this is media convergence, the process by which the various media industries intersect. Defining media convergence, coming together of different equipment and tools for producing and distributing news. That's according to Grant and Wilkinson, 2009. The combination of new media and old media within a single piece of media work. The coming together of different media products or technology. Example, video gaming, mobile phone. This is according to Henry Jenkins. The blending of the media, telecommunications, and computer industries. The concept of media convergence. Question number 26. Eternal thanks are offered to the one who made the stars that drive away the darkness from all our land. This poem excerpt from early Philippine poetry shows the sense of blank of our Filipino ancestors. A. Justice. B. Gratitude. C. Sacrifice. D. Brotherhood. Again, eternal thanks are offered to the one who made the stars that drive away the darkness from all our land. This poem excerpt rather, from early Philippine poetry shows the sense of A, justice, B, gratitude, C, sacrifice, D, brotherhood of our Filipino ancestors. The correct answer is gratitude. This shows that our forefathers thanked the God or the gods for all the blessings of nature. And this is gratitude. Question number 27. His best known idea is the cooperative principle, which breaks down how people behave in conversations in order to enable effective communication. A. Enoch Powell. B. Holger Pedersen. C. Stephen Krashen. D. Paul Grice. Again, his best known idea is the cooperative principle, which breaks down how people behave in conversations in order to enable effective communication. A. Enoch Powell. B. Holger Pedersen. C. Stephen Krashen. D. Paul Grice. The correct answer is Paul Grice. The concept of cooperative principle. Paul Grice was a British philosopher of language. The cooperative principle and its maxims, a principle proposed by the philosopher Paul Grice, whereby those involved in communication assume that both parties will normally seek to cooperate with each other to establish agreed meaning. It is composed of four maxims: quality, quantity, relation, and manner. That's the cooperative principle by Paul Grice. Number 28. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all? This incantation, common in fairy tales, is used by someone who is full of A. Envy, B. Anger, C. Piety, D. Self-confidence. Again, mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all? This incantation, common in fairy tales, is used by someone who is full of A. Envy, B. Anger, C. Piety, D. Self-confidence. The correct answer is envy. This is the mantra of Snow White's evil stepmother. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all? The stepmother is full of envy because Snow White has two things which she does not have, and these are youth and beauty. Next, number 29. They refer to electronic connections from one source of information to another. A. Links. B. Jump. C. Breaks the attributions. Again, they refer to electronic connections from one source of information to another. A. Links. B. Jump. C. Breaks the attributions. The correct answer is letter A. Links. On the internet, a link is more appropriately referred to as a hyperlink and is what connects web pages to other web pages. When referring to communications, a link is a connection between two devices. In data management or a file system, a link refers to the capability of sharing or viewing shared information. And number 30, his theory of second language acquisition consists of five main hypotheses. A. Stephen Krashen. B. Edward Sapir. D. Leonard Bloomfield. D. Noam Chomsky. Again, his theory of second language acquisition, L2 acquisition, consists of five main hypotheses. A. Stephen Krashen. B. Edward Sapir. D. Leonard Bloomfield. D. Noam Chomsky. The correct answer is letter A. Stephen Krashen. Professor Krashen is Professor Emeritus of the University of Southern California in the United States. And he specializes in theories of language acquisition and development. And his theories of second language acquisition consists of five main hypotheses, and these are: first, the acquisition learning hypothesis; then the monitor hypothesis; the natural order hypothesis; the input hypothesis; and the affective filter hypothesis. The design and procedures in the natural approach are based on these five hypotheses. It's hypothesis with an E because this is plural. Okay, number 31. Led by Dato Puti, the 10 Datus, their wives, children, warriors, and slaves, left Bornai in boats. They were guided in their voyage by an unidentified person who had been in the islands before. When they reached the Sulu archipelago, they could not land because the people were hostile to them. Based on the above passage, the people who lived in Sulu were A. Muslims, B. slaves from Bornai, C. not friendly, D. mostly women and children. The correct answer is not friendly. The people in Sulu were not friendly. That's based on the above passage. The key word here is hostile, which means angry and deliberately unfriendly towards someone or somebody. Again, this linguist is a pioneer in the field of first language acquisition and has revolutionized the way in which we understand how children pick up language. A. Eve Clark, B. Roman Jakobson, C. Edward Sapir, D. Umberto Eco. The correct answer is letter A, Eve Clark. Well, Eve Clark is a British-born American linguist. It means she's now American, but she was born in the UK. She was born in Britain. She was a professor at Stanford University in the United States, and her area of expertise or specialization is first language acquisition. According to Eve Clark, infants are born into a social world, a world of touch, sound, and affect, a world of communication. They develop and grow up as social beings, immersed in a network of relationships from the start. It is in this social setting that they are first exposed to language in use. So that's Eve V. Clark. Question number 33. Which of the following shows the element of time in a short story? A. All the villagers. B. The day of the party. C. Along the shore. D. Consultation with the people. Again, which of the following shows the element of time in a short story? A. All the villagers. B. The day of the party. C. Along the shore. D. Consultation with the people. The correct answer is B. The day of the party. When you say time, it shows when the story happens. When? On the day of the party. Question number 34. The term online indicates a state of A. Normalcy, B. Sufficiency, C. Connectivity, D. Productivity. Online means connectivity. The term online indicates a state of connectivity. When you say online, it means connected to other computers through the internet or available through the internet. That's online. Number 35. Public officials and public figures who sue for libel must prove actual malice, which means the defamatory statement was published with A. ill will or hatred toward the plaintiff, B. a clear and present danger of injuring the reputation of the plaintiff, C. a high degree of awareness of the offensive nature of the publication, D. the knowledge that it was false, or with reckless disregard for whether it was false. Correct answer is letter D, the knowledge that it was false or with reckless disregard for whether it was false. This is a journalism question. Libel. It is libelous if a journalist knows that it is false but still publishes a story claiming it is true. No? In other words, it is malicious. So the correct answer is letter D. What is libel? Libel is a published defamation of character, writing or pictures that expose a person to hatred, shame, disgrace, contempt, or ridicule, injure a person's reputation or cause the person to be shunned or avoided, or injures the person in his or her occupation. That's libel. Number 36. In his wildly popular books such as The Language Instinct, Blank argues for a biological basis of language acquisition. A. Robin Lakoff. B. Benjamin Worth. C. Steven Pinker. D. Paul Grice. Again, in his widely popular books such as The Language Instinct, Blank argues for a biological basis of language acquisition. A. Robin Lakoff. B. Benjamin Worth. C. Steven Pinker. D. Paul Grice. The correct answer is Steven Pinker. Steven Pinker is a professor of cognitive science, which means the study of the human mind, who writes about language, mind, and human nature. The Language Instinct is a book by Pinker, Professor Steven Pinker. In this classic, the world's expert on language and mind, the Pinker, lucidly explains everything you always wanted to know about language, how it works, how children learn it, and how it changes, how the brain computes it, and how it evolves. With deft use of examples of humor and wordplay, Steven Pinker weaves our vast knowledge of language into a compelling story. A language is a human instinct wired into our brains by evolution. Number 37. Drawing information or content from the work of another without acknowledging the source by citing a reference is considered to be plagiarism in all of the following cases except one. Which is it? A. Using the exact words of the author. B. Reproducing in your paper a chart contained in the author's work. C. Using data that the author has compiled through his or her independent investigation. D. Using information from the author's work that is regarded as common knowledge in the discipline. The question here says, except drawing information or content from the work of another without acknowledging the source by citing a reference is considered to be plagiarism in all of the following cases except one. Except here means we need to choose that which is not plagiarism, and that is letter D. Using information from the author's work that is regarded as common knowledge in a discipline. In most cases, when a fact is general knowledge, it can be stated without providing a citation. For example, the earth goes around the sun. That is common knowledge. You don't need a citation here. Common knowledge is information that is widely known and accepted by many people. The use of such information without citation does not constitute plagiarism. 38. What type of telecommunications hardware allows you to access the web? A. Monitor. B. Browser. C. Modem. D. Mouse. The correct answer is letter C. Modem. It is a device or program that enables computer to transmit data over telephone lines. 39. Nobel laureate Nelson Mandela worked for the abolition of blank, a system of racial segregation in South Africa, A. Zionism, B. Diaspora, C. Détente, D. Apartheid. Again, Nobel laureate Nelson Mandela worked for the abolition of blank, a system of racial segregation in South Africa, A. Zionism, B. Diaspora, C. Détente, D. Apartheid. The correct answer is letter D. Apartheid. Well, apartheid was a system practiced before in South Africa. It was Nelson Mandela, former South African president, who worked for its abolition. Apartheid was a system for keeping white people and non-whites separated in South Africa. It lasted from about 1950 to the early 1990s. The word apartheid means apartness in Afrikaans, a language spoken in South Africa. And number 40, which of the following does not observe proper English? A. I come from the Philippines. B. Andrew used to be my friend. C. How often do you go to the dentist? D. He does not do anything to help me. Again, which of the following does not observe proper English? A. I come from the Philippines. B. Andrew used to be my friend. C. How often do you go to the dentist? D. He does not do anything to help me. The correct answer is B. Andrew used to be my friend. Okay, let's analyze. So Andrew used to be my friend is wrong. The correct structure is Andrew used to be my friend. It's used, U-S-E-D. Used to plus infinitive. Used to do something. We use the structure used to do something when we talk about something we did before, we did regularly in the past, but we do not do now. For example, he used to go to school. It means now he doesn't do it anymore. Question number 41. He founded the ethnography of communication. A. Martin Juice. B. Roy Harris. C. Benjamin Worth. D. Del Hines. Again, he founded the ethnography of communication. A. Martin Juice. B. Roy Harris. C. Benjamin Worth. D. Del Hines. Ethnography of communication is Del Hines. Del Hines was an American social linguist. Ethnography of communication, the study of communication in its widest cultural and social context, including rules of language, norms of appropriate language use in particular settings, and evaluations given by members of a culture to various speech styles. So Del Hines, ethnography of language. 42. Who owns the internet? A. Nobody. B. Bill Gates. C. Government. D. United Nations. Again, who owns the internet? A. Nobody. B. Bill Gates. C. Government. D. United Nations. The correct answer is nobody. Yes, nobody owns the internet. Fortunately, nobody owns the internet, and there is no centralized control, and nobody can turn it off. Its evolution depends on rough agreement about technical proposals and on running code. Who owns the internet? Nobody owns the internet, but it's set up by several protocols, which are set up by different organizations such as some web browsers. Question number 43. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. It was the age of wisdom. It was the age of foolishness. Who wrote these lines? A. Geoffrey Chaucer. B. John Milton. C. Charles Dickens. D. Joseph Conrad. Correct answer is Charles Dickens. Charles Dickens was a British novelist, journalist, editor, illustrator, and social commentator. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. This phrase has been taken from the famous opening paragraph of Charles Dickens' novel A Tale of Two Cities. The novel opens with, "It was the best of times, it was the worst of times." This passage suggests an age of radical opposites taking place across the English Channel in France and the UK, respectively. It tells a story of contrasts and comparisons between London and Paris during the French Revolution. 44. These are an ancient Germanic alphabet used for writing divination and magic. Again, these are an ancient Germanic alphabet used for writing divination and magic. A. Runes. B. Ideograms. C. Graffiti. D. Hieroglyphs. Correct answer is runes. Runic alphabet, writing system of uncertain origin used by Germanic peoples of Northern Europe, Britain, Scandinavia, and Iceland from about the 3rd century to the 16th or 17th century AD. Runes or runic alphabet. 45. According to this linguist, language study must always be centered on the spoken language. A. Leonard Bloomfield. B. Brother Andrew Gonzalez. C. Ferdinand de Saussure. D. Eno Powell. Again, according to this linguist, language study must always be centered on the spoken language. A. Leonard Bloomfield. B. Brother Andrew Gonzalez. C. Ferdinand de Saussure. D. Eno Powell. The correct answer is Leonard Bloomfield. Well, Bloomfield was an American linguist who led the development of structural linguistics in the US during the 1930s and the 1940s. According to Bloomfield, language study must always be centered on the spoken language. Definition should be based on the forms of the language, and the history of a form does not explain its actual meaning. It's Leonard Bloomfield. A student posts daily internet descriptions of the activities in her school's dormitory. The student's personal news site is called A. a blog, B. a net nanny, C. a cyber tabloid, D. a micromedium. The correct answer is blog. B-L-O-G. It's blog with a B, not V, which you post. Vlog, V-L-O-G, is that which you post on YouTube, right? On YouTube. Blog is a regularly updated website or web page, typically one run by an individual or small group that is written in an informal or conversational style. Question number 47. This linguist is considered the father of second language acquisition. The father of SLA. A. Holger Pedersen. B. Michael Everson. C. Rod Ellis. D. Noam Chomsky. Again, this linguist is considered the father of second language acquisition. A. Holger Pedersen. B. Michael Everson. C. Rod Ellis. D. Noam Chomsky. The father of second language acquisition is Rod Ellis. You know, when I was studying for my master's degree in ESL, that's English as a Second Language in UP, I had this subject entitled Second Language Acquisition, or SLA. My professor was a very knowledgeable person who finished her master's degree in literary linguistics at the University of Nottingham in the UK, in England. And our textbook in that subject was written by Rod Ellis. So basically, I studied Rod Ellis, the father of second language acquisition. And he's now based at Curtin University in Australia, in Perth, Australia. 48. Today's traditional media, such as newspapers, are reacting to the internet by A. competing ferociously for audiences, B. exploring ways to use it to deliver their content. C, ignoring it and continuing to do business as usual. D, racing to abandon traditional forms and converge with the new medium. The correct answer is D, racing to abandon traditional forms and converge with the new medium. Yes, traditional media are now online. Otherwise, they will be left behind. Newspapers have Facebook pages, as well as Twitter accounts, YouTube channels, and websites. So they converge with a new medium, which is the internet. This is convergence again. 49. Which of the following does not observe proper English? A, have you heard from Sebastian recently? B, they sell the best dressed chicken in town. C, Sandra did not have time to write the letter. D, I was walking along the road when I saw Dave. The correct answer is letter B, they sell the best dressed chicken in town. Let's analyze. Dressed chicken, not dressed chicken. A dressed chicken has its entrails taken out and its neck and tail cut off. Excess fat is also trimmed and discarded. Then the chicken is cleaned inside and out using cold water. All these preparations ensure that the chicken is ready for cooking once it's bought by a customer. Dressed chicken, not dress chicken. And number 50, this is the last number, came up with the 7 functions of language. A, Louis Goldstein. B, Michael Halliday. C, Leonard Bloomfield. D, Steven Pinker. Again, who came up with the 7 functions of language? A, Louis Goldstein. B, Michael Halliday. C, Leonard Bloomfield. D, Steven Pinker. The correct answer is Michael Halliday. Michael Halliday was a British linguist who viewed language basically as a social phenomenon. So, according to Halliday, these are the 7 functions of language: the instrumental function, the regulatory function, the representational function, interactional function, personal function, heuristic function, and imaginative function. The 7 functions of language, Michael Halliday. So this is it. Thank you for watching and see you next week for Set 9. God bless everyone.